Many thanks for joining us, and here are stories making headlines at this hour. I am Perpetua Fasomi-Peter. The International Monetary Fund (IMF) has cut its global economic growth forecast for 2022 to 3.2% in its report titled "Gloomy and More Uncertain" as the Ukraine-Russia conflict continues to disrupt the global supply chain. The Washington-based lender had in the World Economic Outlook report titled "What Sets Back Global Recovery" in April forecast global growth of 3.6% for 2022. According to the latest report, a tentative recovery in 2021 has been followed by increasingly gloomy developments in 2022 as risks began to materialize. It stated that global output contracted in the second quarter of the year owing to downturns in China and Russia, while U.S. consumer spending undershot expectations. And similarly, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) is retaining projected economic growth of 3.4% for Nigeria in 2022. At its last economic outlook released in April, the IMF had estimated that Nigeria's economy would grow by 3.4% in the year from the 2.7% earlier projected. It explained that the outlook for countries in the Middle East and Central Asia and Sub-Saharan Africa, such as Nigeria, remains unchanged or positive due to elevated fossil fuel and metal prices for some commodity exporting countries. The IMF further advised countries to adopt policies that would bring inflation under control and reduce food and energy prices. And now the House of Representatives on Tuesday extended the scope of its investigation of payments for subsidy on premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, to the last administration led by President Goodluck Jonathan. The House had on June 29, 2022 resolved to investigate payments for subsidy on petroleum products, especially petrol, under a period that fell under the regime led by the President Muhammadu Buhari. At a plenary on Tuesday, Chairman of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Abubakar Fulata, moved a motion to call for an extension of the probe. Speaker of the House, Femi Gbajabiamila, had set up an ad hoc committee to investigate the petroleum product subsidy regime from 2017 to 2021, which was mandated to report back to the House within 8 weeks for further legislative action. At a plenary on Tuesday, Chairman of the House Committee on Rules and Business, Abubakar Fulata, moved a motion to call for an extension of the probe. Fulata therefore prayed the House to extend the mandate of the ad hoc committee on petroleum product subsidy regime to cover the period of 2013 to 2020, as well as subsidy payments and forex allocations from 2013 to date. The lawmakers unanimously adopted the motion. The federal, state and local governments shared 802.407 billion naira as federation allocation for the month of June 2022. This represents a 10% increase from 681 billion naira shared in May. The sharing decision was reached at Federation Account Allocation Committee (Faac's) meeting. According to a statement released on Tuesday by the Director of Press and Information, Federal Ministry of Finance, Mrs. Phil Abiamuwemowete. According to the statement, the federal government received 321.859 billion naira. The state received 245.418 billion naira. The local government councils got 182.330 billion naira, while the oil-producing states received 52.799 billion naira as derivation. That is 13% of mineral revenue. The communique issued by the Federation Account Allocation Committee (Faac) that is, at the end of the meeting indicated that the gross revenue available from the value-added tax, that's VAT, for June 2022 was 193.8 billion naira. While the federal government got 29.07 billion naira, states received 96.9 billion naira as local government councils were given 67.83 billion naira. Also, the gross statutory revenue of 608.58 billion naira was distributed, from which the federal government was allocated the sum of 292.7 billion naira. States got 148.5 billion naira, while local governments got 114.49 billion naira. States entitled to oil derivation got 52.79 billion naira. The federal government has drawn the excess crude account ACA to $376,655 from $35.377 million in May this year. This means that in 1 month, the government withdrew over $35.3 million from the ECA. The ECA is supposed to be a savings buffer meant to steady the government's revenue and serve as a bailout for the economy in dire times. The information about the ECA's drawdown is contained in the abridged version of the Federation Account Allocation Committee communique released by the Director in charge of Information in the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation, OAGF, Henshaw Ogubike, at the end of the monthly Faac meeting in Abuja. However, the detailed communique shows that a total of 1.01 trillion was realized as revenue last month, but only 802.407 was shared after some deductions. In the communique, it was stated that 26.117 billion was withdrawn from the ECA as reversion refund on withdrawals from ECA. The Petroleum Industry Act PIA 2021 may not stop the trend of divestment by international oil companies operating in the Nigerian oil and gas sector, the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission has said. In August 2021, the President, Muhammadu Buhari, signed the PIA into law after the bill had dragged at the National Assembly for over 2 decades. Since the law was signed, operators in the oil sector, including government officials, have been optimistic that the act would attract enormous gains to the industry. However, IOCs operating in Nigeria have been divesting their assets away from Nigeria before and after the PIA became law, as the RMAFC, an agency of the federal government, stated that the act might not halt the divestments by the international oil firms. The 5 major IOCs operating in Nigeria include Shell Producing Development Company, Total Energies, Chevron, ExxonMobil, and Eni. The International Finance Corporation, IFC, is offering a $35 million financing package to Jubilee Agrotech, a Nigeria-based agrochemicals manufacturer and distributor, to increase smallholder farmers' access to key input and boost food production to strengthen food security in sub-Saharan Africa. The bank said in a statement that the financing package would help Jubilee expand its production capacity in Nigeria, Ghana, Tanzania, and Uganda, helping to offset Africa's reliance on agrochemical imports. With support from the local currency facility of the International Development Association's private sector window, IFC is providing $20 million of the financing in Naira. The financing package will be accompanied by advisory services to support Jubilee to incorporate products that contribute to climate adaptation and climate-smart agriculture, such as drip irrigation equipment. The advisory work will also support smallholder farmers to integrate sustainable farming techniques and benefit from improved productivity and incomes. Amid expansion in business activities, data released by the FMG Exchange has revealed that total exporters and investors foreign exchange (I&EFX) transactions rose by 17.6% to 30 trillion naira in the first half of 2022, compared to 25.52 trillion naira reported in the first half of 2021. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, in 2017 introduced the I&EFX window to further deepen the foreign exchange market, and in 2021, it adopted the specialized window for exporters and investors as the official market rate. With the increase in foreign exchange transactions, the naira has depreciated against the US dollar, with the exchange rate increasing by 1.06%, or 4.43 kobo per United States dollar, to close at an average of 420.98 naira per US dollar in June 2022, from 416.55 kobo per US dollar in January 2022. Speaking on what will become of the forex rates in the second half of 2022, financial economist and professor of capital markets at the Nasarawa State University, KEFI, Professor Uche Owaleke, in a presentation, predicted of rising exchange rates due to the exit of foreign investors, as well as increased demand for forex by politicians. Analysts believe increasing business activities have played a vital role in demand for forex, even as they maintained that the sustained interventions by CBN have curtailed further weakening of the local currency.